Okay, so welcome to my Frosthaven playthrough. This is on Tabletop Simulator, and I will be playing a solo Frosthaven 4-player campaign on Insane difficulty. This is, if you will, the prologue, where I am just setting up my game and having a look at the characters I'm going to pick, talk a little bit about the decisions I'll be making with respect to the starting purchases. So, yeah, it's questionable whether I'll be uploading this, but this will also be a test of my sound recording, my audio, my setup. So let's get started. I won't comment on every single thing to do with Tabletop Simulator or Frosthaven itself. I will, of course, assume that if you are here to watch this sadistic, masochistic, insane playthrough, you already know a little bit about what Frosthaven or Gloomhaven is about. And yeah, I won't go into too many of the rules, but I will of course talk a little bit about some of the strategic decisions I'll be making. So here it is, Insane difficulty. On Insane, monsters at +3, you do get more gold, traps do more damage, and you get bonus XP at 10 per mission, which means all of your characters will level up that much faster. So let's start with the first character. I will be choosing the Bannerspear. I think Bannerspear does really well when there are multiple people in the mission. Uh, of course, the formation is helpful, but I will be predominantly playing my Bannerspear as a ranged character, which I'll talk a little bit about in a second. But let's have a look at human Bannerspear. I won't read too much about the bios. I'll leave that. If you're really interested, feel free to pause, read it yourself. Suffice to say, Bannerspear has a little bit of wind affinity, which is actually quite useful in the ranged build. Lots of defense, it's quite tanky. Bit of support, bit of control, bit of melee. So there we go. First character is going to be the Bannerspear. Now, um, with the Bannerspear, we need a name. My Bannerspear shall be called Judges. Why? I think you'll see in a second, but my Bannerspear will be called Judges. As with all characters in the game of Frosthaven, you start with 30 gold to purchase your initial items. Now, of course, if you know anything about the game of Frosthaven, you'll know. I'll leave the rulebook here for the rest of my playthrough. I think it's helpful to refer back to it. Even after spending hours and hours of time playing this game, there's still many things that you don't know. So, um, what was I saying? Yes, if you are starting with the game, you might know this rule here. You have 30 starting gold, etc. If you own Gloomhaven, let's assume we do, you do get to purchase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 additional items. So let's go and find those now. These items are, and I think in the Tabletop Simulator mod, they're actually all grouped together, which is very convenient. They are Thief's Hood, Flea Bitten Shore, Shoes of Happiness, Jagged Sword, Warhammer, Field Falcon. These are the 6 items that you additionally get to purchase. Again, if you don't know what these are, feel free to look it up and have a read. But like I said, I'm going to assume you have played Frosthaven or Gloomhaven, or you have some kind of knowledge with this game. and I won't go into too much detail going through every single item. So, what should my ranged Bannerspear pick up? Now, you can safely eliminate all of the items from this pile, since they are craftable items and do not have a gold cost, which means you cannot purchase them at the beginning of the game. Now, on insane difficulties, things are, as it says, kind of insane. So, I will buy defensive items, mainly for my characters. So first item of choice, leather armor, which says when you're attacked, before drawing an attack modifier card, the attacker gains disadvantage on the attack. The interesting thing about this item is, as a player, you can choose. It is when you're attacked, not a compulsory item, therefore. You can choose when to activate this. And if you watch the deck carefully, it can help you avoid a critical hit. The other item I'll be buying is the heater shield. Again, it's a win item, so when you suffer a damage from an attack, you get shield 1. Again, the fact that you can choose is what makes these items very, very important. So that's my 30 gold, leather armor, heater shield as my first two items. Now, of course, the other thing I need to be doing is personal quest. So let's do a couple shuffle. Let's pick up 2 for my Bannerspear. I will prefer to pick life goals where it is for personal quest, as they're officially known. I would prefer to pick the personal quest which is easier to track, given I'll be playing 4 players. But I'd also want to pick something that's somewhat thematic to my character. I don't feel like a Bannerspear is somebody who will be out there specifically interested in killing stuff, but then again, you never know. Between these, I think life lesson is probably the better one. There is a world where Bannerspear retires either too early or too late with Dangerous Game, which requires you to kill 3 different type of enemies 2 times each. So let's go with life lessons, which says that life is all about the experience, and I need 150 experience to retire. So to help myself with the tracking, especially given I'll be on my own, I will use a little tracker here to track my experience. The other thing I will do is to use coins to indicate if I have completed or not completed an ongoing mastery. So there are 2 coins here. One to indicate mastery 1, which requires me to attack at least 3 enemies with each of 3 different AoE effect. And then the second one, which is to carry a banner with me for the remainder of the game. If you don't know what those are, like I said, I won't explain too much. So that's my Bannerspear setup. I'll deal with the cards in a second, possibly as a part of a separate video for the beginning of scenario 0. So for now we'll leave that. Second character, I will roll a Drifter. So, Drifter, Enox Drifter, is a bit of a jack of all trade. No elemental affinities, low complexity, and again, I will be opting for low complexity starting characters just because there are 4 characters I'll be playing. If you wish to read, feel free to pause. This guy will be my classic frontline fighter Drifter. What would I call my Drifter? How about Amos? So, 30 gold, what would I want to purchase? So for my Drifter, again, defensive items are typically my preferred setup. So I'll be starting with a heater shield and a amulet of life. Why not leather armor, you might be thinking, if you're Drifter is your melee fighter. Healer Shield is fairly self-explanatory. Amulet of Life allows you to heal 1 HP for yourself. That's fairly important given there is a card which is called Continuous Health that allows you on the bottom half to increase your healing by 2 for the next 6 heals, and Amulet of Life counts towards that. So this could be effectively a heal 3 on a turn you need it if you had Continuous Health out, which is something I'm looking to exploit early on, since for a 10 HP character, a 3 HP heal is quite substantial. Personal quest. Let's see what we roll here. And it is worth noting that at the very beginning of the game, you can see there are 6 left. There are only 10 personal quests at Frosthaven, where I think Gloomhaven had a lot more. So it does mean that most of these you should see if you're playing a 4-player game on your own already. So clearly here, I'm not going to bother be tracking so many items. Team building's the easier one. So let's put that here. Just like with my Bannerspear, I'll be tracking it. So 8 outpost events need to be read out with someone's name. So let's put an 8 here. And similarly, there are 2 masteries which I'll track with 2 coins. There we go. Right, next one is possibly my favorite of the starting class, which is my Blinkblade. Why? Well, you'll find out as I'm playing this next couple of missions. Blinkblade offers you a lot of flexibility with its inherent mechanic of fast and slow, and my Blinkblade shall be called Tobit. Question then, what do you want on your Blinkblade? Well, if you're playing a assassin style of Blinkblade, Poison Dagger is a almost guaranteed choice because of a card which I'll show you in a second, and the other item is the Amulet of Life. So I'll take it over to my Blinkblade. So what does Poison Dagger do? It says during your melee attack ability, add poison to 1 attack. Important to note that it is just the 1 attack. It doesn't affect AoE attack, which is a common mistake I know a lot of people make. Why is it so good? Well, cards like Twin Strike becomes attack 2. If you use Poison Dagger on the first attack, the next attack becomes attack 4. Or if the enemy is already poisoned, this is attack 3, attack 4. So attack 7 on a fast round. This is why Poison Dagger is so good, because of the ability to amplify cards like this. And then Amulet of Life is very good because of this card, Power Leak, where you do attack 4 on fast. If you do not have poison, you get poison to get extra target and experience. So Amulet of Life allows you to immediately remove the poison on yourself when this triggers. For me, on this difficulty, these 2 items are the key items for a Blinkblade. Personal question, greed is good, very thematic, or the study of plants. Probably greed is good. 80 plus 20 times prosperity level gold. That's a lot of gold. Almost means my Blinkblade might never retire. But what the hell, it is very thematic. So let's do that. That does mean that with my Blinkblade, I'm going to have quite a lot of flexibility on when Tobit retires, which is good. I like Blinkblade, why not? So 80 plus 20 times 1, so currently I will need 100 gold for my Blinkblade's retirement. 2 mastery coins. Let's put it here. Okay, final character. So as you can see, my Drifter Amos will be my main frontline tank fighter. You have Tobit, who weaves in and out of the fight. Judges, my Bannerspear will be mostly a range attacker, but with some ability to tank. And my fourth character will be Deathwalker, who will be my pure ranged attacker. So this setup is almost a 2.5 melee fighter, 1/2 range fighter type of setup. Um, it is also, as you probably noticed already, it's very high HP lineup, 10, 10, 8. So that's some of the highest HP characters of the starting lot. Um, that's of course all to do with the fact that on insane difficulty, enemies hit hard, so everybody have to do the tanking together, and these three effectively will be my tanking party. And Deathwalker will be my pure glass cannon. You do need some glass cannon. I find defense is not always the best strategy. So here's my Deathwalker. Ruth, the shadow, I shall be putting into a suitable area in the corner. I can never get it to quite line up in a nice area. Okay, let's just put it there for now. All right. Now Deathwalker is very interesting, especially if you are building the Deathwalker into a range attacker. And the reason I like range for the Deathwalker is not that I think the melee build is bad. It's just I find it on a high difficulty, the melee build is quite risky. For a 6 HP character who can often not even tank one hit to be running in and out of the fight, it's dangerous. Yes, you can mitigate some of that with game knowledge, but at the end of the day, sometimes you can't afford to take hit, and that sometimes means you can't afford to run in. So, for ranged Deathwalker, my preference to start with weighted net. During your range attack ability, add immobilize to one attack. It is a double-handed item, but the lack of CC in Frosthaven does mean an immobilize is very, very valuable. So I will be taking that. And if I had a choice, the rest of the 10 gold I would just save. Unfortunately, Frosthaven rules do not allow you to save gold on your starting buy. So I will be spending the 10 gold. And because it is just 10 gold, you have probably noticed, looking at this item list, there aren't a lot of choices. In fact, the only option is the Flee Bitten Shore, which gives you initiative 99 every round for the purpose of enemy focusing. It's not the greatest item, but for the sake of spending it, my Deathwalker Ruth will purchase that. And I guess thematically, it does look like that Ruth is wearing the Flea Bitten Shore. What does this do? It does mean that Ruth will almost always not be tanking, which is probably fine, but for some scenarios I might choose not to wear it um, for the sake of being able to tank. But at the beginning of the game, when you only have 6 HP, not tanking is probably the right thing. So, personal quest. Choice of build not destroy or searching for the oak. Searching for the oak seems like a fun one for Ruth. And I just realized I did forget to flip over the character sheet for Blinkblade. So let's talk about Blinkblade. No elemental affinities, which is fine. Blinkblade does generate some relevant elements for the Bannerspear. Um, as I said, mostly melee and mobility, so it is a bit of assassin type of character. High complexity, I think of the starting lot, Germinate is probably more complicated. Blinkblade just has a natural rhythm once you get used to it. It's actually not that bad. And finally, Deathwalker. Now, Deathwalker is mainly dark. Of the starting six, it's interesting that there's some anti-synergy and synergy between the Deathwalker and the Bone Shaper, in that both of them generate dark and both of them uses dark. So I like, having experimented, I do prefer not to play Deathwalker with Bone Shaper just because the dark usage can get quite crowded. So yeah, again, picking Deathwalker in this party is a little bit of a deliberate choice given the difficulties we're gonna face up. So range character, some melee, which I'll be mostly ignoring for this build, um, and yeah, some support, some defense. There we go. So now, of course, this is not all of the setup. The items cannot go back. I'll take you through some of the other settings that I am incorporating into this playthrough. First thing, let's check out the options in the Tabletop Simulator itself. Scenario page spawn, that's fine. Hidden room setup, I won't be using hidden room setup. I want to replicate as closely as possible to the actual experience of playing this game on a tabletop, just without all the hassle of having to set stuff up. 3D model is totally fine. Monster is fine. Battle Go 3, since I'm playing solo, won't be hiding the ability card. Yeah, campaign-based summon drop, which does mean in a Frosthaven game, everything drops loot. Classic enhancement, I mean, like I said, I'm playing solo, I won't be bothering with this tick. Just because this, well, I'll let you read it. If you do this, increases by a further one. We're already playing on the hardest difficulty, so I'm not inclined to do any more. Elementals interface. I think horizontal is probably fine. I do find that sometimes this tracker interact with this bit of menu, so I'll probably be putting it somewhere around here. Okay, what else? So let's have a look at our campaign sheet. Party name. My party will be called the Bible Study Group. Now you probably know why regarding to the names. I don't think there's much to tick here at this point. Some shuffling here, some shuffling here. And for the ease of the viewers and for myself, I will be putting a green game piece to indicate which missions are currently available. Okay. Anything else that should be done before we simply commence the game? I don't think so. So yeah, this will be a little test recording, and the next one I'll be starting with scenario 0. Thank you very much for watching.